This is one of the most iconic performances in Turkish music history, and apparently it has some wildly high notes at the end. I do know her voice, but I've never heard this song and I've never heard this performance. Let's give it a listen. People know this song! Wow! I can't believe so much just happened in the first phrase. That first note is so breathy and round and light. Ooh. And then she goes to a really round, heavy place, definitely chest voice. And then she has a little scale in there that's a little bit unusual for me because in the UK we don't use those scales so much. That little ornament. So much fullness in that mix. Okay, this is great. High notes at the start. Wow. She got control, hasn't she? How does she do that? Well, it takes a long time, and it's not just being able to sing in all those textures, it's being able to move really quickly between them. Sometimes she's big and open, almost operatic. Sometimes she's and it really packs a punch. Şebnem started out in a rock band called Vocalist. Fun fact, that's actually an algae, and she also voiced the Turkish voiceover of The Little Mermaid. She's like a goddess. I love it, like to it. Oh. I love the strings. There's the opera. High note that we're all hearing, it is possible. Your voice always had the possibility of doing it, it's just that the muscles didn't have the coordination yet, but when you get that and everything works together, you can definitely do it. One of the things that's interesting with it, I wish we had a little closer shot of her mouth, is the shape of your mouth that you have to make. Maybe try making your mouth long and thin like you are the scream. It just makes it that little bit fuller, whereas here, people will end up going a little bit flat. Give it a go. See what works for you. I mean, her voice deserves an entire orchestra like this. Absolutely. I love the symphonic metal. So style. Okay. There she is. This is so smart. This big instrumental where the strings come in, you're building up the drums, you're building up the guitar. She slowly walks forward. What's she gonna do? Yeah, long face. Until she gets lower. So why does she do that? As she gets lower, she goes a little bit wider because you want a little bit of whoa, a little bit more of a cutting sound. Whereas if she was like oh, it might dampen that sound a bit too much for what she's aiming for. There. Ooh, go higher. Building to something. Ooh! False chord in there. Head voice. It was so clever how she flipped between using her head voice to give herself a little bit of a break, adding the growl on the lower note, and then just for that little bit extra, she added fry on her high note to hit you in the soul. Low growl. Head voice break. So intense. Fry! What note is it? Ah! The best way to find this is by being a seagull. Ah! And then adding that kind of gruffy seagull noise that they have. Ah! Yeah, it doesn't sound quite as nice as her, does it? I think she practiced a bit more than me. Subtle ending.